Hello and welcome back to Rolling with the Robsons. Today we're in our caravan checking it over, but in this video we're going through the second part of our tour to France. So we travelled down to Dover, and you've noticed I've just gained a little friend here because we're up at the caravan. Olivia's here with me, full of cold, aren't you, bless you. We decided we would travel down to Dover and then stop there. It's about 350 miles give or take, so as I said in the first video, it's about somewhere in the region of 7 to 10 hours, depending on how lucky or unlucky we are with the traffic. You've got the cushion. So, yeah, we decided to stay over Dover. So we basically planned out that we would leave hours about 3 to 4 in the afternoon, on a Thursday afternoon, and drive down to Dover. So we planned it out. We looked on Google Maps, which I think is quite good for the UK, although the times aren't the best. We looked at where we'd want to stop. So I want to stop about 3 to 3 and a bit hours in, so that we could have tea, have a bit of a break, get out. So what I kind of spent a lot of time doing was looking which service stations were around that kind of time frame, but also, and it's a bit sad maybe, using Google Street View to look exactly how easy or not so easy it was to get into the service station and get out the service station. Where would I park the caravan? So that was a really useful tip for us. So we'll talk about it a bit more, and we'll go through the map. Where did we start? Where did we end? We got to Dover about 11 o'clock at night. We stayed at the Black Horse Farm, which is a great site. We were fortunate. We were fortunate that we got a code to get in through the barrier. So we got a code to get in through the barrier. Parked up really late. Pitch black. Again, motor mover was an excellent idea because the space where we were wasn't hard to get into, but I think with the car it would have been tricky at that time of night to have to go into that. And then we parked up, stayed the night. Next morning, 5 o'clock, got up, got ready, went for the ferry. So we'll go through bits and pieces of our journey down and why we decided to stop in certain places and what the journey was like for us. So as you can see from the map here, we looked at times to get down to Dover as part of our decision whether to stay on this side of the channel or just on the other side inside Calais. We decided to stay on this side because we've got 3 young children, so the journey itself is quite a big journey. It was the longest journey by an absolute mile we'd done with the caravan. So as you can see on the map, it's saying 5 hours 40 minutes to get down from here near Gateshead in the northeast all the way down to our stopping point, which is Black Horse Farm Caravan. Now what I would say is Google Maps times are nowhere near what you probably need to do. So on here it's saying 5 hours 40. I think at the best you're probably looking at 7 hours, and obviously worse anything up to 10 hours. So we were quite lucky. Our journey down was spot on. All the way down, had no issues at all. Everything went absolutely swimmingly. The thing to remember is you've got to pay for the Dartford Tunnel when coming over here. So then it was where next to stop. So we stopped actually, let's change this to North Grantham Services. This is where we stayed because we were leaving at approximately 3 to 4 o'clock. We thought for the girls, by the time we stop, and obviously we took some snacks and lots of things to do in the car, which is useful, we'd stop at North Grantham Services. There was some other ones we probably could have got to, but this is where we decided to do. One of the things that's good about Google Maps is putting in the satellite view just so you can have a look at what it's like in terms of the service station. So there is some spaces here which are primarily for lorries. When it did say park here, we actually parked, interesting enough, here on the site. And the other thing that we used quite a bit in the UK particularly was putting it into street view mode and then trying to go along the road. Let's turn it around a second to gauge where we'd have to come off. So you can see here it's in Forston, and we kind of went along a little bit to find out how to get off the road. It's going to come off here. That doesn't quite, there you go. Come off the road just to see how you would get along here This might look a bit sad, but how you get along here to where the roundabout is. It's going a little bit fast now. And even then, just to look at that, and what I actually did for my wife at certain parts was I took screenshots of this and wrote a set of instructions down for the key points. So as you can see, come along here, get the roundabout, and it looks like, at first instance, if you read the map, it's the first left, but it's not. You've actually got to go round here and into it this way. So really quite useful having Street View just to give us an idea of where things were. The other thing I used Street View for was, I'm going to zoom out a bit here, was in particular when I knew I wanted to come off or the roads joined. So let's go Black Horse a second. Again, if we zoom in, so it was looking here, what's the signs that kind of, so it was like looking here, what's the signs to get off onto the A14 and to come along then the M11. And again, using Street View, a bit sad at times, but it was looking, well, we'll get the M11 here. So on the M11, how do we then join onto the M25? That eventually becomes a Dartford crossing. And again, when we get off after the Dartford crossing, how do we know we're going the right way to the A2? So that was us. We took about, as I said, about 7 hours. We left about 4, and we had about half an hour at North Grantham Services, maybe 45 minutes actually. And we got the Black Horse Farm, which is a really good site. I'll zoom in here. We got the Black Horse Farm at about 11 o'clock. And again, really, really useful for Street View. How do you get off onto this junction? What's the roundabouts like? And there's a couple of different ways. So you think, well, maybe do I go through the middle of the village? Actually, this way was much, much better. And then, yeah, the Densal. And as I said, when you get there, there it is. If you can see it, you basically have to ring up before, which is really useful, and you get a code. And we were there, which was great having the motor mover, because as you probably can tell, you probably could, but there was already a car here and there was a caravan here, so our pitch was quite narrow. Next day, drove round through the barriers down, and it was probably about half an hour to get to Dover. So that's the kind of second part in our France journey, and just gives you a few ideas again from the northeast what it's like and where to stop. Please click the subscribe button at the bottom to subscribe and press the notification button just to get notifications as we put part 3, getting from Calais down to just below Tours to Parc de February. So thank you for watching our video on the second part about going to France in 2018. Please click below to subscribe and click on for the next part of our journey. And I think Olivia's a bit sick now because she's got a heavy cold, bless her, and I think she just wants to go back home. You go back home? Want to see Mama? Yeah. Aww. Bye.